And you know what? I'll just get right into it. No small talk, no banter, no promo. I'm not going to promo my ex at Crishaun the Don. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to waste your time. I'm not going to promo my other channel at Misfit Nation on YouTube. We don't have time for that. It's late. Money in the Bank happened yesterday. You're all sitting on the edge of your chairs wondering what I thought about it. I know. I understand. I'm here to tickle your fancy, wet your beak on your kayfabe content, your kayfabe cartel content. And I'm going to talk about this PLE that just happened, Money in the Bank. Now I'm gonna stress this because this night there was a common theme that I felt, and it was that I'm gonna stress that I'm a story guy. I love story. I think wrestling is all about storylines. Honestly, I think if you're watching wrestling and you're enjoying it, not having a story, I think you're a fucking idiot. I think that's not pro wrestling. You're watching two men fake fight for no goddamn reason, and that makes you a fucking idiot if you enjoy that. That's probably the nicest way I could put that. So whenever I watch a wrestling show, I'm looking for storyline. I'm looking for something to intrigue me, to make me care about why these two people are having a fake fight and why I should be invested in that. So, it's like watching a movie fight without the story. It's like they're just being fights in a movie, and there not being any context to it. How can you enjoy that when you know it's predetermined? You know that nobody's actually getting hurt. I know wrestling's different. I know people actually get hurt. I know there's some realism to it. I know there's a difference, but the fact that it's predetermined, why are we watching it? That's all it is. It's very simple. Now, I'm starting to realize that WWE PLEs are no longer the place where you should, or the shows that you should expect any storyline to be told. Really, all except for one match throughout the whole night was there any story told. Other than that, zero story progression. Nothing happened. All this build up and nothing really happened storyline wise. The in ring tonight or last night was pretty good. Pretty good. Certain matches were better than others, but as far as stories, you got nothing. You got nothing. Other than Punk and Drew, that's pretty much the only storyline progression we got. But I'll go through the match card in order to some degree here. So let's start. And remember, if you're not a story guy, this is probably not the show for you. Move the fuck on. But I'm gonna stress a lot tonight about storyline. So, Money in the Bank, the men's Money in the Bank ladder match. We had all of the competitors in there. I'll just say this right off the top. Gable and Andrade. And I'm not a fan of Andrade. I've never been. I think he's a bore fest. He's been kind of being doing a little bit better on promos, I'd say, but not too much. He's showing a little bit of character at least. However, Gable and Andrade were the stars of the match. I thought they were amazing. They were giving it their all. They were probably involved in the best spots of the night. That neck breaker onto the ladder standing up from LA Knight to Chad Gable was amazing. I mean, it was pretty. It looked painful. First off, it looked like LA Knight got the brunt of that bump because he landed like right on the edge of the bottom of the ladder. But yeah, it was a really nice creative kind of bump. I don't think I've seen the ladder used in that way that many times, if any. I also thought the Drew McIntyre fucking lawn darting the ladder to I think it was Jey Uso on the top of the ladder, and he just fucking throws it right into his face, missiles it right to him. I thought that was a great spot. Made Drew look like a monster. Drew looked like a fucking monster in that match. and him winning I thought was great. But yeah, I thought the match flowed very well. I thought all the spots flowed into each other very well. It didn't have the goofy fucking everybody bunches up and waits for the guy to jump on them. It didn't have all that. You didn't see people people were actually selling in this match. They take a big bump and they'd be out for a minute, and or they'd be just laying outside. They didn't quickly recover just to get ready for the next spot. That AEW horseshit, that indie nonsense. So yeah, that I really liked the Money in the Bank. I really liked I liked the flow of it. I like that Drew won. Now I'll get to my critique. No storyline. No storyline was told in any of it, really. And we had this big buildup where we were sort of speculating, would the Wyatt Six get involved because of the Chad Gable and Jey Uso thing, and were they going to actually target Jey Uso? And we had all of these great ideas, and we were speculating, and we were actually very intrigued to see. And I was intrigued going into the match. It was one of the more intriguing matches to me, storyline wise. And nothing, zero, no Wyatt Six, no nothing. It was a match. It was a match that happened. But I assume the storyline was Drew McIntyre tonight. However, I think that's I'm not gonna let them off the hook with just saying hey, it was all about Drew tonight. We have to focus on Drew. I get it. You don't want the Wyatt Six to take all the shine, but why not? Why not? I would assume you'd want everybody to get all the shine that they could. Drew McIntyre would have got the shine even with a Wyatt Six interference or some kind of storyline progression with that at all. And the fact is building up to Money in the Bank, it was entangled into the Money in the Bank storyline. So I thought I thought it was Triple H again being lazy, baby step, bitch ass booking by Triple H. We're gonna save this. PLEs are all exhibition. It's all exhibitions. And I get it. Look, the Money in the Bank. I keep getting a lot of people giving me excuses, and I'm tired of the excuses. Well, the story is the Money in the Bank, and it's like, yes, that's the basis of the story, but it's not the story. That's just the match. That's just the tool to tell the story. It's like any other match. Hell in the Cell is a tool to tell a story. You don't just, that's why the Hell in the Cell pay-per-views for the most part failed or they got boring because you're just having Hell in the Cells for Hell in the Cell's sake. You know what I mean? And a Hell in the Cell is supposed to be a blow-off, blood feud type of match. That's what it kind of was created for. Or it was, one of those, this guy keeps getting away or he keeps escaping or having people interfere. So Hell in the Cell, nobody can get in, even though everybody gets in every single fucking match. They really know how to blow their load, don't they? But yeah, no storyline progression, no Alpha Academy, no nothing. And you're going to see, like I said, that is going to be the theme of tonight. But again, the positive, I was happy that Drew won, and that comes into play later on in the card. Getting to this now. This is the Braun Breaker. This Braun Breaker match. And we've been getting hit very hard on our comment section. And I'm not gonna lie, we've been getting the vast majority of people have been disagreeing with me, saying that Braun Breaker isn't resonating or getting really great reactions when he's coming out to the ring. But it doesn't matter how many people send these messages. It's just gaslighting, because I could see and I can fucking hear, and I'm watching the program, and Braun Breaker isn't getting these massive reactions. I've had people over exaggerate more than anything I've ever seen in my life. And please understand, I'm a big Braun Breaker fan. I have high hopes for him. I think he's great. I think he's amazing in the ring. I just don't I don't think he's resonating, and it's alarming me, because I don't think Triple H is actually booking this guy the way he should be booked. and I'll get into that a little bit. And this match actually is a perfect example of what I've been saying. First off, Braun Breaker comes out again to pretty much no reaction. Literally, I only saw two fat dudes in the front row barking. That's all I saw. People were literally standing still when he came out. It looked like a 2K WWE 2K crowd. Actually, those are now more hype than when Braun Breaker came out. New music. I think the new music sucks more than the other music, and I don't even think the old music was as bad as everybody was saying. I actually listened to it on YouTube, and I was like, it's not the greatest thing. It's a little generic, but it's not like, oh my God, this is why he's not getting over. It's that bad. It's really not. I think people are just making excuses. Again, making excuses because for some reason Triple H is now the greatest booker that ever lived. And if you argue with that, you're an idiot. But yeah, here's another thing is every time a wrestler came out and they got a major reaction, WWE pulled up this little decibel reader thing where it was live and loud, I think it said on it. But yeah, they were pulling that up. Like for instance, the Seth Rollins match, they pulled that up because the crowd got super loud for him. And they pulled it up a few other times. I can't remember exactly. Maybe Cody or something like that. But if Braun Breaker was really getting these massive, loud reactions, and somebody even told me that the entire arena is barking like DMX concerts. I'm not even joking. That was commented on our video. He's not getting entire crowds barking and reacting to him. Now, when he gets in the ring, when his matches start, people are reacting to him. Yes, I agree with that. And that's because he's a fucking specimen and he's an athletic monster. The problem is that if he's not, and almost anybody in wrestling will tell you this, if he's not getting reactions for his entrance the next week, he's not resonating. And the fact is that every night he has to go out and he has to work to get the crowd to remember him. That's what it is. I don't know what people are really seeing here. But yeah, I also put out a specific challenge to people about this, and I promise you I'm going to get into the match itself. I put out the specific challenge to people on the Braun Breaker videos, and not one person has met the challenge or even attempted. I said, if Braun Breaker is really getting these massive major pops, and there was at some point, and this is all main roster, by the way, I'm talking about. NXT, I'm sure he was getting amazing pops because that crowd is a bunch of trained SEALs who literally go there to get the guys over. And I'm going to get to that also in a minute, the NXT crowd, because I think that's part of the issue. But yeah, I challenged everybody. If he really is getting these major pops and these massive reactions, somebody just direct me to a video or name a time that Braun Breaker on the main roster got some kind of massive pop. And I promise you, I will play the clip, even if I get copyrighted or copyright striked. I think that's right. For it, I'll play it and I'll call myself a goddamn idiot. But I know that clip doesn't exist. I know because I've been watching him on the main roster and he hasn't been his reactions have been going down. Now, the reason why I believe that's happening is because the way that Triple H is booking this guy. Braun Breaker should not be having these 15-minute competitive matches. He shouldn't be having problems beating Dragunov, beating Ricochet, beating Sami Zayn. I don't care about his fucking experience. This is the new guy. This is the new powerhouse. You have to build him. You have to build him right. Now, it's funny because I've been arguing with a lot of people that Braun Breaker isn't really getting the because everybody keeps going, oh, it's the Goldberg push. He's getting the Goldberg push. Just be patient. He's gonna get it's gonna build. He's gonna get the Goldberg. Tell me how losing clean to Sami Zayn on a PLE is anything like the Goldberg push. Tell me how having competitive matches and even winning with competitive matches that are 15 minutes long, how is that the Goldberg push? It's not. Goldberg, first off, didn't even speak for like the first 6 to 8 months, I think, that he was on TV. He would refuse to speak. So they built Mystique with him, which they didn't do that with Braun Breaker. They're actually trying to, I would say they're trying to make him more of a mic promo guy, but they're not letting him cut the promos the way, they're not giving him the time because they don't give anybody the time. But yeah, this isn't the Goldberg push, and it's funny because last night at Money in the Bank was the proof. Goldberg didn't lose. So again, how is this the Goldberg push, and how does him losing clean to Sami Zayn in a really competitive match help Braun Breaker whatsoever? And that's all I'm saying, is he shouldn't be having problems. Listen, there's a point in the match where Sami Zayn gave Braun Breaker his exploder suplex into the corner, and I looked at that and I was like, that takes Braun Breaker down a fucking peg as far as the psychological side of his booking. It takes him down a peg. He doesn't look like a powerhouse taking an exploder suplex into the corner from Sami Zayn. It's this indie fucking booking. This imaginary world, fantasy world booking that these fucking dumbass fans eat it up. I really don't get it. I really don't get it. But I'm kind of pissed about this because people are looking at this. I actually saw people celebrating this and going, this was great booking. This was great booking. I could even show you the post. Great booking. Braun Breaker spearing Sami Zayn, and they're claiming that's great booking from Triple H. Right here. I don't know if they're being sarcastic, but Braun Breaker spearing Sami Zayn today. Jey Uso and fine-ass Tiffany Stratton wins Money in the Bank today. CM Punk becomes the biggest hater of the year. Best booker and promoter of the year, Triple H. Honestly, tell me how taking a guy who's supposed to be who everybody's perceiving as the next Goldberg and having him lose clean in a big match against Sami Zayn, how is that any different really from a Vince McMahon decision, Vince McMahon booking? How is this any different? I really don't get it. I don't see where this Triple H praise comes from. Now, Sami Zayn was obviously completely over because it was Canada. But yeah, point being, I think they're fucking up Braun Breaker's booking. And we'll see because he changed the music and everybody seems happy about the change. And everybody's been throwing that excuse at me that he's not getting over because his music sucks and it doesn't have a siren when it does have a siren. Every single song he's had has a goddamn siren in it. So I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. But yeah, I think the music sucks more than the music he had before. But I guess because it has lyrics, people think it's better. But yeah, that's that I think it really is gonna take Braun Breaker a few steps back. I'd be surprised if when he came out on Raw on Monday, if he gets less than a reaction. I guarantee you he barely has people barking in that arena. Definitely not like a fucking DMX concert. But yeah, I think Triple H and WWE has to realize that NXT crowd is not a good gauge on what is going to resonate worldwide and what's going to resonate with the masses. I think, and I've talked about it before. I've talked about it with Sports Jedi Network, who I was on his watch along last night. But he goes to the NXT tapings a lot, and he tells me that a lot of the times that crowd is so generous that and it's really all the time that they want everybody to get over. That's their mentality. That crowd is that they want everybody to get over. And that's why pretty much everybody on that roster gets cheered. It's because they're this generous kind of they're really trained SEALs where they're trying to create these chants. They're trying to really get themselves over as well. But they're there to get to get the wrestlers over. Sorry. The fans are there with the intention to get them over. So to use that as a gauge isn't going to work because they're going to be over. Everybody's going to be over there. And these are fans that watch, they watch the indies and they probably watch AEW and all that stuff. But they know who these guys are before they get to NXT. So they're watching the indies. But yeah, they have their favorites and they create these chants that a lot of the times don't even cross over to the main roster because people don't know the chants. And there's nothing connected to the person that makes the fans do the chant. It's because it was an NXT thing and they think it's going to cross over. And it's because WWE writes their shows like everybody watches fucking NXT when most of the audience doesn't. Most of them really don't. Look at the numbers. They don't. So yeah, that's where I'm coming from as far as the Braun Breaker thing. Again, I hope he gets over. And I have no doubt that he will at some point, but I get the feeling that Triple H's booking is hindering him in a lot of ways. And people are so high on Triple H that they're not willing to give that criticism. You can't even give criticism to Triple H these days. It's really insane. And it's crazy that Triple H used to be one of the most hated people by the IWC not too long ago. But he's the indie darling now. Okay, so then we got to the John Cena retirement. John Cena comes out making his entrance, a surprise entrance, and then he comes out. And really in the only in a fashion that's as cringe as only John Cena could pull off, he lets down the towel and it says, "The last time is now." But it's John Cena, so we forgive him. We love him and cheer him and boo him anyway, right? The last time is now, and he has this somber John Cena look on his face, and he gives yep, it is. It is. And then let's go to work, Stu. And then John Cena comes out and basically cuts this sort of, I want to say sort of, I don't want to use the word cryptic because it wasn't cryptic, but this, he wasn't trying to give everything away. I guess that's the best way to put it. But yeah, he comes out and basically sets up that he's retiring, but it doesn't mean that it's like it's over today. He's gonna more or less, he confirmed that he'll be there for the road to WrestleMania, which is Royal Rumble, Elimination Chamber, and then WrestleMania. And then supposedly the idea is that that's his last WrestleMania. And then he has some kind of thing that carries on after WrestleMania. So that's what he said during the press conference. By the way, go watch that press conference if it's still fucking up, because it was pretty hilarious because they kept bringing up Vince McMahon to John Cena and Triple H. John Cena tried to field it, but he just, he did all right. He did better than Triple H. Triple H is like, I can't talk about that. Can't talk about it. Come on. And that guy who asked that same question to both of them, who's never going to be at a WWE press conference again. Somebody, I wish I remembered that guy's name. I got to shout him out because the balls on that dude to put it all on the line and throw away his WWE press pass for good and ask the question that everybody was thinking, that everybody's been thinking. And it was kind of John Cena's fault. He said, hey, ask anything. He was trying to be open book, transparent John Cena. And as soon as he got that Vince question, he kind of took like 2 more questions and beat it. He was like, all right, that's I fucked up here. But yeah, John Cena will be on the road to WrestleMania 41 for his final run, his final day in the sun, if you will. But he also did confirm that he'll be doing some sort of behind the scenes ambassador kind of work. But he has he said he has no desire once he retires. He has no desire to come back for even like a special guest referee kind of thing. It almost seemed like he doesn't even want to do like any appearances. It's like just all behind the scenes, and maybe I don't know, maybe some kind of creative. I don't know about that. I made that up. But the yeah, he's gonna be some kind of corporate position in WWE after he's gone. Which makes sense. So yeah, we'll be covering the final days of John Cena's career, definitely on this channel. That should be interesting. Okay, let's move on. Me and Wonder should have we'll have a bigger conversation on that in the future, definitely. We'll also have a bigger conversation on most of this stuff. I just wanted to jump on here while it was fresh and talk about this. Okay, let's move on to Seth versus not. Oh yeah, by the way, I think there definitely was a woman's Money in the Bank somewhere in the middle of one of these matches, but I could give a fuck about women's wrestling. The best set of tits won that one. Tiffany Stratton. Good with that. Actually, you know what? Let me be honest. I really did enjoy the women's Money in the Bank. As far as women's Money in the Banks go, I was on the watch along with BX Sports Jedi Network. Go check them out. So I had a little more fun. I usually have more fun watching it with people. But that match, those women actually really did kind of go in. I have to give them a little bit of credit. They really gave it they were going hard. They were giving it their all. Actually, I got the feeling a lot of them were just kind of letting it all fly in there. And there was some spots that I'm not gonna lie, I was like, oh, like a Naomi fucking got slammed on the ladder and falls right into like right onto her kidneys. Jesus Christ, that table spot was pretty nice. Usually tables don't break with the women, but that who was it? Chelsea Green. She fucking fell right in the heart of those tables, right in the middle. Very nice, very well done. So yeah, usually I really don't care about women's wrestling. Again, no storyline though, no storyline progression. Not that I care about women's storylines either. What are you gonna do? I'm a sexist. So much easier when you admit it. Let's see. Seth versus Damian Priest. Seth freaking Rollins versus Damian Priest. There's no other way to say that than in the whitest accent ever. Seth freaking Rollins and Damian Priest. Now, as far as the match, it was whatever. But as far as the storyline, best match of the night, because it was the only match that had any storyline attached to it, any attempt to tell a story, any attempt to weave in stuff that they've been building for the past few weeks. Obviously the Punk and McIntyre thing, but before I get to that, I did like that before the match they had the Finn Balor and Damian having the sort of really tense kind of stare down thing. Or well, it was more Damian gave Finn an order, and Finn, as he was walking away, as Damian was walking away, he kind of like under his breath said, I think he said "Sure thing, boss" or something like that, and kind of just like stared at him intensely. So there's a little bit still lazy as far as storytelling goes, but at least it was something it was some kind of, seeds being sowed. I thought maybe it could have played into the match somehow, but I don't know, because he basically told him to stay out of it. So the only way I could play in is if they interfered, and that really, I guess the only thing could be them interfering, and then that would be the final like standoff with the Judgment Day. But or at least the culmination, the blow up of the Judgment Day. But yeah, it was a very easy storytelling. It wasn't the most amazing storytelling, but I think they definitely did way better with the McIntyre Punk storytelling. Funny enough, it wasn't. It's honestly probably the storyline that needs the least amount of progression. It's probably the storyline that has the most in the past few weeks. But yeah, they basically Drew cashes in. A lot of people are sort of critiquing that Drew cashed in at a stupid moment. That they made him cash in at a stupid moment, but I did like it because the way Drew came out, it was almost like he was so determined and almost angry about everything that's been going on that he wasn't like thinking straight. That's the way I perceived it. I could be, adding context where it doesn't, exist, but I like that he just came out and was like he just was ready to destroy them, which he ended up not. He kind of, was getting his moment, and then that's when Punk came in and ruined the whole thing. But yeah, it was a bit predictable. But it it it, it it's part of the story that has to be told. Punk had to screw him again in something pretty big, so that now that I guess Punk is back, they can actually have their match. I assume which is gonna happen at SummerSlam. So yeah, yeah, pretty much that's about it as far as that. I don't think I missed anything on that, but yeah, it was all right. I was just happy that it was some kind of story being told. It wasn't just a fucking exhibition match. Now, the Bloodline took on the Bloodline 2.0, took on Cody Rhodes, Randy Orton, and Kevin Owens in the most contrived fake chemistry team I've ever seen in my life. These guys, if you told me they were friends in real life, I wouldn't believe you until you showed me a picture with all of them together wearing silly birthday hats. You know what I mean? Like, I have to see that in order to believe it. But yeah, really nothing to really talk about here. It was a fucking exhibition match. No storyline was told. No storyline progression whatsoever. Cue the whoa whoa music. That was it. I think what's the guy used to be Camacho? I can never remember his name because I only think of him as Camacho. Loa, I think. Loa Tonga. Loa Tonga? Tonga? No, I'm wrong. I just added two names together. Somebody in the chat correct me because I'm a fucking moron. But yeah, it looked like he was the one that wasn't in the match. Looked like he may have like got a concussion or something. I didn't do any research to see if they talked about that yet or let any information out, but he looked like when he took that spot where he it was a suicide dive, I believe. I think I'm right about that, but it was a outside spot from in the ring to outside, and he took a fall, a bump, and it looked like he banged the back of his head on the table, the announcer table. And then after that, he was just kind of like laying there for most of the match. You could see even Solo crawls over to him at one point and starts caressing the back of his head for a second. It was kind of wholesome for a moment. But yeah, and then he completely missed the low blow. He missed his spot at the end. He had to do another low blow because he completely fucked it up. He just looked like he was completely loopy by the end of it, even when he was putting up his one. Yeah. So but again, no storyline, no nothing there. Nothing to really talk about. It was a match. It was another bloodline style match. That's about it. If there was some storyline there and I missed it, somebody tell me because I didn't fucking see it. But yeah, that was pretty much it. That was pretty much it. It was an exhibition pay-per-view. It was a fucking universal mode on 2K24 fucking pay-per-view match, pay-per-view card. So that's what I'm starting to take away from these PLEs is they're using it as a way to just put on exhibitions. It's the wrestling. Even though Raw and SmackDown have way too much wrestling already and not enough storyline anyway, it's not like they're not payoffs anymore. I don't feel like I was paid off in anything tonight. I keep saying tonight, but last night. I don't feel like there was any kind of and I wasn't looking for like complete blow-offs to feuds. I was looking for just some kind of something. Maybe a Wyatt appearance, something with the Alpha Academy. I mean, that's been one of the biggest stories for how long now since the Wyatts debuted. What was that, 2-3 weeks ago? Yeah, it's just like I don't know. I don't know how to grade these things. Like if I were to give it I guess a rating out of 10, I'd say like a 4 out of 10. And really the 4 is just because the wrestling was good. But the fact that it would get a low rating is because there was no story. There was zero story. So it kind of makes like who wins and loses kind of pointless too. Like who gives a fuck who wins women's Money in the Bank? Like I was glad Stratton won it, but it's like that's just because she's sexy. Nothing to do with her wrestling. Actually, I think she is a pretty decent wrestler. But, other than like, hey, I guess she's new. I know her name. I know her by name. So make her the Money in the Bank winner. And she gets good reactions from crowds. She wins them over, all that. But yeah, I just again, I'm a story guy. And we got no story. That's about it. That's about it.